In our previous videos, we had discussed about the heat of the chapter number 4, heat and temperature. This was the first segment of this chapter number 4, heat and temperature. Today we will be trying to understand the second segment of this chapter, that is based on the concept of heat. This is the second segment of this chapter. First segment was the temperature. First segment was about the temperature. We had discussed about this in detail. From today, we will be heading for the second segment of this chapter, that is the topic of heat. This is the second segment. This is the module 4 discussion. The page number is 59. And the main topic of today's discussion is the flow of heat. Or we can say the transmit of heat or the transfer of heat. Under this main topic, we have to know different things, such as what is the actual meaning of the process of flowing of heat, or we can say the transmission of heat or the transfer of the heat, by providing the real example. The question is, how does the heat travel? What are the different ways of traveling or transferring or transmission of heat, such as conduction, convection and radiation? These are the three different ways through which the heat can transfer or transmit from one region to the another region. These are conduction of heat, convection of heat and the radiation of heat. The module 4 discussion is all about conduction. Today we will try to understand about the conduction, the mode or the way of transferring of heat. And in our further videos, we will try to cover the another two different ways of transferring of heat, convection of heat and the radiation of heat, in our later videos. But for the module 4 discussion, we will confine ourselves in order to understand only the convection, the way of transfer of heat. And about the conduction of the heat, we have to know how does the transmission of heat through conduction is happened. What is the meaning of conduction of heat, or we can say what is the definition of conduction of heat, by providing the physical experiments. This is very important to know what are the different conditions for the conduction of heat. What are the different conductors of the heat? There are two different types of conductors of heat. Good conductors of heat. What are the different uses of good conductors of heat, and the non-conductors of heat, or we can say the bad conductors of heat or the insulators. And what are the different uses of the insulators of the bad conductor of heats. Up to this we will discuss. First of all, I would like to state the meaning of the transmission or the transfer of heat. Literally, this is the process of flowing of heat from a region to the another region, from a hot region to the cooler region. Or in another way, we can say transmission or transfer of heat is the way of flowing of heat from a hot body to a cold body. And this flow of heat from the cold body, from the hot body to the cold body, is called the transmission or the transfer of heat. Now, how can we know the transmission and the transfer of heat? For this case, we can provide the real examples for the transmission or the transfer of heat, such as number 1, the placing of the ice on our palm, or by holding the ice on our palm. If we place the ice on our palm, or if we hold a piece of ice on our palm, then we will feel that the ice is cold in our hand palm. The question is why? And the answer is, whenever the ice is placed on our palm hand, or whenever we hold the piece of ice, we generally start losing the heat from our palm of the hand to the ice. And this incident is called the loss of heat from the palm of hand, which in turn makes us feel that the ice is cold. The main reason behind this is the hand is more hotter than the piece of ice. The piece of ice is cooler than the palm of the hand, and the palm of the hand is hotter than the piece of the ice. Hence, we can say heat energy flows from the palm of the hand to the ice, because we know that heat flows from a hot region to the cold region. And for this incidence, the heat flows from the hotter region, that is the palm of the hand, to the cooler region, that is the ice, the piece of ice. And therefore the ice gains heat from the palm of the hand and it starts melted. This is the first example of the transmission or the transfer of the heat. We can also provide the another example of the transmission or the transfer of heat, and that is by holding the glass of the hot tea. Now the tea is very much hotter than the palm of the hand or the finger of the hand. When we hold the glass of the hot tea, heat flows from the hot tea to our hand or the fingers of the hand. And then we feel that the glass is with the tea is very hot. The main reason behind this is once again the transmission or the transfer of heat. As we know that the direction of the flow of heat energy determines whether the object is hot or the cold. And we can easily feel that holding a glass of hot tea, it gives us a sensation of hotness. That means the glass of the hot tea is hot. And it indicates the transmission or the transfer of heat. And always remind yourself that when a body starts to lose heat energy, the another cold body will gain that heat energy. Once again I repeat, when a hot body loses the heat energy, the other cold body tries to gain that heat energy. And in this way, the heat energy always flow from a hot body to a cold body through the transmission or the transfer of the heat. This is all about the transmission or the transfer of heat. One thing here, it should be noted that the transmission, the transfer of heat is occurred from the region of higher temperature, hot body, to the region of lower temperature or the cooler body. You must know this condition. This is the precondition for the transmission or the transfer of heat. Transmission or the transfer of heat always happened from the region of higher temperature to the region of lower temperature, from the region of hot body to the region of cooler body. Now the question is, how does the heat travel? Heat travels through three different ways. Through conduction, through convection, and through the radiation. And the direction of the transmission of heat from the hot or the higher temperature region to the lower temperature region. This is the direction of the transmission of heat energy. But the three different ways of energy transmissions are: number one, conduction, convection, and radiation. Now it is the time to learn about the conduction of heat. In our another videos, we will discuss about the convection and the radiation in our upcoming videos, in our next classes. But for the today's class, only conduction of heat will be discussed. Now, what is the definition of the conduction? Conduction is said to be the process of transmission of heat from one molecule to the another molecule in the solid, without actual movement of the molecules from their real positions. That means without actual movement of the molecules from their positions in the solid, the conduction is said to be the process of transmission of heat from the one particle to the another particle, or one molecule to the another molecule. But always pay your attention over here that the molecules always pass the heat from one molecule to the another molecule without the actual movement of oneself. This is the process of conduction. But molecules can be vibrated. I repeat, molecules can be vibrated during the process of conduction of the heat, but they will never move from their real position. This is the process of conduction of heat. Now, what are the different physical experiments through which we can easily prove the transmission of heat through the process of conduction? The first physical experiment is if we hold a piece of metal rod, this one, 4.9 transfer of heat in the solids. This is the first physical experiment through which we can easily prove the conduction of heat process. In this physical experiment, we have to hold a piece of metal rod. This is the first end of the metal rod. This one is the another end of the metal rod. Now we have to hold the piece of metal rod from its one end, and we have to place the other end, this one, on the hot blue part of the flame till it gets red hot. And under this situation, the end of the rod this one that we are holding gets warmer and warmer, and after some time it becomes very difficult to hold the rod anymore, and as a result we have to drop the rod piece to save our hand. Now the question is, why this is happening? And the answer is due to the conduction of the heat, or the transmission or the transfer of heat in the way of conduction. That means heat here is conducting from this end to this end. From here, from this end to this end. This is the conduction of the heat. Now we can conclude that the metal, this was the metal rod, and it was solid in nature, and the heat in this solid metal is transferred from the point of a higher region temperature, from this region to the another region, that is of cooler region or the lower temperature region, without moving the molecules or the particles in the solid from their position. Heat is taken up these molecules of the solid rod and they collide with each another by transferring the heat energy from one molecule to the another molecule. Without any further movement by themselves, till the heat energy reaches to the another end, from this end to that end. This is the physical experiment to prove the conduction of the heat. Now, what are the different conditions for the conduction of heat? There are two conditions which are concerned as the conditions for the conduction of heat. Number one, the two objects must be in contact with one another. This is the first condition. The two objects must be in contact with one another. This one was the first object, metal object, and this one is the another object, and they must be in contact. I hope you can easily understand the contact between this object and this object. This is the first condition, and that is two objects are in contact with one another, because heat can only travels from one object to another object when the two objects are in contact with one another. The second condition is the temperature of the two ends of the same object must be different from one another. The first object, this one, is cooler, and the second object is hotter. And this is the second condition, that the temperature of the two ends of the same object must be different from one another. The temperature of this end is more higher than the temperature of this end region. This is end region is cooler and this end region is hotter. This is the second condition. The temperature of these two ends must be different from one another. And complying with these two conditions, the process of conduction of heat is carried out. Now, what are the different conductors of heat? There are two different conductors of heat. Number one is the good conductors of heat, and the second one is the bad conductor of heat or the non-conductors, and these are called the insulators. Now, what are the good conductors of heat? Those solid materials which conduct the heat through them are called the good conductors of heat. What are the examples? The examples are all kind of metals such as iron, copper, silver, gold, aluminum, mercury, including the different alloys of metals such as the steel, brass and the bronze. These are the example of the good conductors of heat. The reason is because they conduct the heat easily through them. And it also be noted down that the conductivity of heat always differ from one metal to another metal. Mind it. The conductivity of heat differs from one metal to another metal. Why? If I say copper is the metal, iron is the metal, but the conductivity of heat in the copper metal is faster than the conductivity of heat in the iron metal. That's why we should know the conductivity of heat may differ from one metal to another metal. Now, what are the different uses of the good conductors of heat? The first use is that cooking utensils are made from the metals. The reason is because the metals are good conductors of heat and they can easily conduct or transfer the heat from cooler region, from hotter region to the cooler region. Therefore, we can say cooking utensils must be made from the good conductors of heat, either from the metals or from the alloys of metals. The another use of the good conductors of heat is in thermometers. In thermometer, mercury is used because mercury is the good absorber and the conductor of heat. Although it is liquid solid, it is also liquid metal, but it can conduct the heat flawlessly, and that's why mercury, although being a liquid metal, is treated as a good absorber and the conductor of the heat. The another use of the good conductors of heat is they are also used for heating the coils in geyser, or for coiling or for cooling the coils in the fridges or in the air conditioners, or for the radiators in the automobiles. And for these different purposes, the metal copper is used because copper is very good conductor of the heat. These are the three different uses of the good conductors of heat. Now, what is the meaning of the non-conductor of heat? Non-conductor of heat, on contrary of the good conductor of heat, are those solid materials which do not conduct the heat through themselves. They are termed as the non-conductor or the bad conductor of heats. There is another term which is also used for referring the non-conductors of heat or the bad conductors of heat, and this is the insulator. Insulators are also called the non-conductors of heat or the bad conductors of heat. The reason is this kind of solid materials do not conduct the heat. What are the examples? The examples are wood, air, paper, plastic, thermocol, glass, etc. These are the non-conductors or the bad conductors, or we can say the insulators of the heat. As we know that the insulators do not carry or do not conduct the heat, that's why they are placed in between the two conductors of the heat to prevent the transfer of heat from the one body to another body. I once again repeat, as we know that insulators are those solid materials which do not conduct the heat, that's why they are placed in between the two conductors of heat to prevent the transfer of heat from one body to another body. In order to prevent the transmit or the transfer of heat from one body to another body, we need to use the insulators, and they must have to be placed in between the two conductors of the heat, so that we can easily prevent the transfer of heat from one body to another body. This is the importance of using the insulator. Insulator will prevent the transfer of heat of the heat energy from one body to another body. Now, what are the different uses of the bad conductor of heat? Number one, it protects us from the cold. And second one is, it can save our hands from getting burnt from the hot utensils while we are cooking. I am coming to the first use of the bad conductor of heat, that is to protect ourselves from the cold. Now we can give different examples in support of this statement that insulators can protect ourselves from the cold. First example is wearing the woolen fabric cloth, because wearing the woolen cloth or the fabric cloth, it is the good example of the way of protecting ourselves from the cold, because the woolen fabric present in the woolen cloth can easily trap the air in between them, and we know that air is a bad conductor of heat, and when we cover the body by using this woolen cloth, the air gets trapped between the garment and our body, and this air does not allow the body heat to flow outside by keeping the body warm. Another example we can also provide in support of this statement, that using the insulator we can easily protect ourselves from the cold, and that is the using of twin blankets or the double sheets. When we use this kind of double sheets or the twin blankets, we can easily keep our body warm. We can keep our body easily warm than using the single one. And what is the main reason? An additional layer creates a such kind of space between the sheets where that air gets trapped in between, and this acts as an insulator between these two layers of the blankets, and that protect us from the cold. Another example we can also provide here in favor of protecting ourselves from the cold, that is using the fur and the feathers on the body by the animals and the birds. Once again, here the fur and the feathers act as an insulator and they keep our body warm. The another example we can also provide here, that is using the false ceiling for the roof with the POP, plaster of Paris, or asbestos or the wooden ply. Once again, using such kind of structures trap the air in between the roof and the false ceiling, which in turn act as an insulator. By keeping the room warm during the winter and the cool during the summer. The another use of bad conductor of heat is we can easily save our hand from getting burnt from using the hot utensils. Now the question is how? For this purpose, we have to use the bakelite or the plastic or the wood for making the cooking utensils or the other electrical appliances, because the bakelite, plastic or wood, these are the materials which act as insulators and they can easily protect us the hands from getting burnt by using the hot utensils. The another example of use of bad conductors of heat is we can also use the double pair of glass sheets for trapping the air in between to prevent the loss of heat from the rooms. And the using of double pair of glass sheets is mainly used for hilly regions. This is another good example of using the bad conductors of heat. The another type of using of insulator is the electrical transformers. In the electrical transformers, the liquid, the oil are different types of oils are used in electrical transformers. The main reason is to keep them cool, because the oils used in the transformer act as insulator. And the real example of using the insulator is the using of sawdust in the gunny bags. We know that the ice slabs, when come out of the ice factory, they are must covered with the sawdust and the gunny bags. The main reason is to prevent from the further melting due to the heat from the outside. Therefore, we can say these are the different uses of bad conductors of heat in different ways in our day-to-day life. This is very important to know for us that all liquids, irrespective of liquid or gases, are very poor conductor of heat, except the mercury. Although mercury is liquid, mercury is treated as the good conductor of heat, but except the mercury, all fluids, irrespective of liquid or gases, are the poor conductors of heat. And always mind yourself that mercury, although it is a liquid metal, but mercury is treated as a good conductor of heat, and mercury transfers the heat by the process of conduction. But all the fluids conducts the heat by the process of convection. I repeat once again, all the fluids except the mercury transfer the heat or transfer the heat by the process of convection, but the mercury transfer the heat by the process of conduction. In our next video, we will discuss about the another ways of transmission of heat, that is the convection and the radiation. Thanks for watching.